There is a moment that happens after every entry that most traders don't recognize for what it is. The moment when the important work is done, the decisions are made, and the only thing left is to let the trade play out. But instead of accepting that, the trader begins a second process of evaluation, second-guessing, and adjustment that has no basis in the plan and no positive effect on the outcome. At the moment of entry, three things are already true. The entry price is set, the stop-loss is placed at the level where the trade is wrong, and the target is defined at the level where the trade is right. And these 3 points define everything that matters about the trade's expected value, which means the trade is, in a meaningful sense, complete at entry. Not in the sense that the outcome is known, but in the sense that all the decisions that can improve the outcome have already been made. What happens after entry is not a decision-making process. It is an outcome-revealing process, and the distinction matters enormously, because treating the post-entry period as a decision-making process is what drives every form of interference. Moving the stop, exiting early, adding to the position, checking for reassurance. All of it flows from the belief that there are still decisions to make that could improve the result, when in reality, the decisions that improve results were made before the entry, not after it. The resistance to accepting this comes from two places. First, the psychological discomfort of having real money at risk in an uncertain situation, which the brain interprets as a problem requiring active solution, even when no solution is available. Second, the illusion of control. The belief that continued engagement with a live position gives some degree of influence over what happens to it, when in fact the market's behavior is entirely independent of whether the trader is watching and making adjustments. Accepting that the trade is already decided is not fatalism or passivity. It is accurate perception of where decisions actually have leverage. Because decisions made before entry in a calm, analytical state have leverage over outcomes, while decisions made after entry in an anxious, reactive state almost always degrade outcomes by overriding the calm state logic with emotional state logic at the worst possible moment. The practical implication is specific. After entry, the trader's role changes from decision-maker to steward, not making new decisions, but protecting the decisions already made from being overridden by emotional responses to normal price movement. And the primary way to protect those decisions is to reduce the opportunities for new decisions to form, which means limiting how often the position is checked, defining in advance the only conditions under which the stop or target can be adjusted, and treating any impulse to intervene as a signal to pause rather than act. The cleaner framing for the post-entry period is this: the trade has been placed, the risk has been defined, and the only job now is not to make it worse. Because the most common way trades go wrong after a correct entry is not the market moving against the plan. It is the trader moving against the plan in response to the market. And every unnecessary intervention between entry and exit is a version of this. A self-inflicted degradation of a process that was working correctly before the interference began. What most traders are actually resisting when they can't accept that the trade is decided is the uncertainty of the outcome. And this resistance is understandable but counterproductive, because the uncertainty was always present. It existed before entry, it exists after entry, and no amount of post-entry management changes it, while accepting it completely changes the quality of management, because a trader who has accepted that the outcome is uncertain and that the decision was made correctly has nothing to do but wait. And waiting cleanly is one of the most underrated skills in trading.